Hey everyone, we are breaking down Curtis Ashford's massive public meltdown, his shocking arrest by the brand new Detective Joe Fitzpatrick, and what this means for Dr. Isaiah Gannon's surgical career. Let's dive in. Okay, so I've been thinking about this whole Curtis and Isaiah situation, and my brain is just spinning. Out of control. Like, I literally couldn't sleep last night because I kept replaying that specific scene at the Metro Court Gardens over and over in my head. Here's what's bugging me. Why is Curtis acting like this? I mean, I know he's stressed. I know he's got a lot on his plate with Jordan's accident and everything, but this is next-level unhinged behavior. He walks into the restaurant, sees Isaiah sitting with Portia, and Isaiah just has his hand on her pregnant belly. Which, okay, maybe a little forward for a coworker, but they are colleagues and friends, and feeling a baby kick is a pretty normal, wholesome human interaction. Or maybe it's not, I don't know. Maybe I'm misjudging the boundaries there. But Curtis just loses his absolute mind. He screams across the entire restaurant like the Metro Court Gardens, the most public, high-end place in Port Charles. It's weird. Like, really weird. The whole thing is just weird. Actually, no. At first, I should mention the actual physical altercation, because that's the part that's going to have the biggest legal fallout. Curtis doesn't just yell and make a scene. He walks over and basically bullies Isaiah, getting right up in his face. And when Isaiah claps back, which good for him, honestly, because someone desperately needs to stand up to Curtis right now, Curtis just straight up decks him. He punches him right in the face and Isaiah goes down hard. I think I watched that promo clip like 10 times, trying to analyze the physics of the fall. He hits the table, right? Or maybe a chair, somewhere around there, but the point is he tumbles to the floor and he's twisting around in absolute agony. Wait, let me back up. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, right, the injury. He's a surgeon. A surgeon's hands and arms are their entire livelihood. If he braced his fall with his wrist, which is basic human reflex when you're knocked backward, he could have shattered something completely. I was reading the spoilers and it looks like Isaiah is definitely going to have an arm or wrist injury in the aftermath of this tumble. And that is devastating. He was supposed to do this massive, complicated surgery on that little boy. He's been looking forward to it. He's been prepping for it. It was going to be this huge, triumphant moment for him. And now he's writhing on the floor of a fancy restaurant because Curtis couldn't control his temper for 2 seconds. I mean, not exactly, but kind of. It's just so frustrating to watch. You watch a character like Curtis, who used to be so calculated, so cool under pressure back in his private investigator days, just completely devolve into this territorial, aggressive guy. "Take your hands off of my child," he yelled. My child. Not my wife or our baby or my family, but focusing entirely on the fetus. It's giving very toxic, possessive energy. Probably doesn't matter, but I noticed how he completely ignored Portia's agency in that entire moment. She invited Isaiah to feel the baby kick. It wasn't some non-consensual weird thing. Portia was sitting right there smiling, having a nice lunch, and Curtis just decided he owned the airspace around her. And Portia, oh my God, Portia's reaction was everything, but also so heartbreaking. She is frantic and she's down on the floor in her nice maternity clothes trying to check on Isaiah, and she screams at Curtis. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Exactly, Portia. Exactly. How does she even deal with this moving forward? She's pregnant, she's hormonal, she's trying to maintain a professional environment, and her husband, or baby daddy, whatever, their dynamic is so messy right now, just commits a violent felony in front of a dozen wealthy witnesses. I mean, would Curtis have done this if Portia was at General Hospital and a male OB-GYN was examining her? No. So it's not about protecting the baby at all, it's about his personal, irrational vendetta against Isaiah. Okay, wait. I need to talk about the vendetta, because this is where my brain really starts going down rabbit holes, and I start getting mad at the writing, but also kind of loving the drama. Curtis is convinced that Isaiah is the one who ran Jordan off the road. He thinks Isaiah is the hit-and-run driver purely because of that scratch on Isaiah's SUV and some recent repairs. So, he's been practically stalking the guy, pointing Ada, Dustin Turner, in his direction, trying to ruin his life and get him locked up. But here is the absolute wildest part of all of this. Isaiah didn't even do it. We know as the audience that Brooklyn Quartermain is the one who hit that guardrail and kept driving. Brooklyn. So basically, Curtis is ruining an innocent man's life and his surgical career over a complete misunderstanding. And think about Brooklyn for a second. When she finds out about this, wait, Has she found out yet? I think it was in a recent episode where she looked super guilty while talking to Chase. Or maybe that's coming up next. Weak. Anyway, the point is wait. What was the point? Oh, right, the guilt. Brooklyn is already drowning in guilt over Jordan's crash. If she finds out that Curtis assaulted Isaiah and ruined his ability to operate because of her secret, that is going to break her. She might actually confess, or maybe not. I don't know. She's keeping a lot of secrets lately. With Chase and the whole Phoebe adoption thing, trying to dig into Delilah Wilson's past with Alexis and Ava. She's got too much to lose to confess now. But the guilt eat her alive. But okay, let's get to the actual consequences for Curtis because this is the juiciest part of the upcoming episodes. Curtis is going to get arrested. And not just by any random background cop with no lines. This is the official debut of Detective Joe Fitzpatrick. Jonathan Bennett is finally hitting the screen. I've been waiting for him to show up since the casting announcement. And what an entrance, right? He kicks off his run with a stunning arrest. He walks into the Metro Court, or maybe he arrests him at the station. No, it has to be at the scene, right? The spoilers said he is summoned to make an arrest. So picture this, Curtis is standing there and probably trying to justify his actions to Portia. Breathing heavy, looking arrogant, and Joe just walks in. Completely calm, by the book, and slaps the cuffs on him in front of everyone. But then again, that doesn't explain why Joe is taking this specific case. I mean, maybe it's just a standard assault call and he was the closest unit. But I've been overthinking Joe's character for days. The spoilers hint that he might be keeping secrets. Like, what if he's not just a regular by-the-book cop? What if he's one of Jen Sidwell's police informants? Okay, I know I just said the opposite, but hear me out. If Joe is working for Sidwell and he's part of this twisted web with Ross Cullen, then him arresting a high-profile guy like Curtis Ashford could be a calculated power play. Or maybe I'm connecting dots that aren't there. It's just in Port Charles. No one is ever just a regular cop. There's always an ulterior motive. Speaking of ulterior motives and dirty cops, Joe's going to clash with Dante soon over the Windermere break-in with Danny and Charlotte Cassidy. But wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Let me pull myself back to Curtis. If Joe arrests Curtis, it puts Curtis directly in the legal system and makes him vulnerable. And if Joe is corrupt, he could manipulate this assault charge to squeeze Curtis for something else. Regardless of Joe's alignment, Isaiah is definitely going to press charges. He has to. His arm or wrist is injured. He can't perform surgery. If I were Isaiah, I would sue Curtis for everything he owns, the Savoy, his house, everything. You don't just assault a top-tier surgeon and walk away because you were feeling a little jealous. And what about Jordan? This is another layer that is just driving me crazy tonight. Jordan is off doing her highly dangerous self-assigned undercover mission as Sidwell's right-hand woman. Jordan Turner literally just sat her down and asked her what it would take to get her back in the PCPD room. And now Jordan is going to hear that Curtis, the man who is supposedly trying to get justice for her hit and run, just committed a brutal, unprovoked assault in public. She's going to be furious. Jordan wants to a lot of handle things. She respects the badge. She doesn't want vigilante justice, especially when it's directed at the completely wrong person. Curtis thinks he's being her white knight, but he's actually just being a criminal. It's the hypocrisy for me. Like really, truly, Curtis is walking around acting like he has the ultimate moral high ground because someone left the scene of an accident. Which, yes, hit and run is a crime. But his response to a suspected crime is to commit a violent, undeniable crime in front of half the town. Make it make sense. He's become a total menace lately. I used to root for him, I really did. I think it was back in maybe 2021 or 2022, somewhere around there, when he was more of a grounded, rational character. Now he's just a loose cannon. He thinks he's untouchable because of his connections to Sonny and the mob world. But you can't just punch doctors in the Metro Court. Let's talk a little bit more about Isaiah's injury, because I can't stop thinking about the medical drama aspect of this. General Hospital is at its core a hospital show, right? Even though we get distracted by the mob and the WSB spy stuff with Jack Brennan getting paralyzed Nina, which is a whole other insane mess, the hospital should be the focus. So an injury to a surgeon is top-tier soap drama. Remember when Griffin Monroe lost his hand function? Or wait, was it Patrick Drake who had the hand tremor? I get my medical storylines crossed sometimes. My brain is mush right now. But the trope of the broken surgeon is classic. Isaiah is going to have to go through intense physical therapy. He's going to have a massive identity crisis. All because Curtis threw a jealous tantrum. It's tragic, honestly. The little boy who needed that surgery, what happens to him now? Does someone else step in? Portia is going to be dealing with the professional fallout of this at the hospital. Isaiah's shifts all while being pregnant and furious at her husband. Actually, this might be the absolute breaking point for Portia and Curtis. How do you look at your partner the same way after seeing them do that? She was sitting right there. She felt the rage radiating off him. He didn't care about her feelings. He didn't care about causing a scene. He didn't care about her professional reputation as a doctor sitting with another doctor. He just wanted to assert dominance like a caveman. It's toxic. If I'm Portia, I'm packing my bags tonight. Or at least taking out a restraining order like the spoilers suggested she might want to do. A self-entitled bully. That's what he is right now. He needs a serious reality check, and hopefully a jail cell will provide that. So, what happens next week? Curtis gets hauled down to the station by Detective Fitzpatrick. Will he get bail? Probably, because it's Port Charles and rich people always get bail unless they are framed for murder. But the optics are terrible. Ada, Christine Turner, is the one who prosecutes these things. She's friends with Jordan. She was looking into Isaiah at Curtis's exact request. Imagine in sheer awkwardness when Jordan Teen has to prosecute Curtis for assaulting the very guy he begged her to investigate. It's a legal nightmare. And Jordan Teen Patrick is going to be right in the middle of it, taking statements, building the case. If Jordan Teen is a straight shooter, Curtis is cooked. If Jordan Teen is dirty, Curtis might be extorted. I don't know, guys. My brain is completely fried trying to predict where this goes. Half of me thinks Curtis will somehow wiggle out of it because legacy characters always seem to find a loophole. But the other half thinks this is the start of a massive, long-term downfall storyline for him. And with Jordan Teen Patrick entering the canvas, the PCPD dynamics are going to shift completely. Dante is already stressed out of his mind trying to protect Rocco from Ross Cullen. Britt is having a breakdown over Danny.